Good evening, everyone. This is Rooftop Sports, and here I am for some more Sonics basketball. It's going to be the Seattle SuperSonics against the Boston Celtics. And thank you for anyone that's being here. And while you're here, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help further this channel. As I do definitely want to keep doing this for a very long time, especially doing Sonics basketball, especially with the NBA still not in Seattle. So I'm trying to give Sonics fans an opportunity to live some kind of NBA basketball. Also, if you would like to get some news updates on my NBA basketball team, as I am starting to write articles on each NBA game, go ahead and join my Patreon page. It is for $5 a month. It is on the bio of my YouTube channel, and you'll see it in the chat as we go along. And also donate to this channel as little as you want or as many as you want. Now let's go into 1999. All right, here we are. We're going to get ready for the game. Here is what we've got. We've got the Boston Celtics going up against the Seattle SuperSonics at home. And let's play as the Sonics are 10-23. Where is Boston at? Boston themselves, they are 19-14. So they are doing very well with rookie Paul Pierce. Let's see who are really the contributors of that Boston Celtics team. Okay, why does Antoine Walker look like a baby? Also led by Ron Mercer, Paul Pierce, Kenny Anderson, and Vitaly Potapenko. Look at the kind of season he's having. He's 10.2 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks, something he couldn't even do with my Seattle SuperSonics back in the old days. Well, that's how much history has really been rewritten, hasn't it? Got Dana Barrows, Greg Minor, Bruce Bowen coming off the bench, Walter McCarty, Popeye Jones, Damon Jones, Tony Battie. I can't even pronounce that guy's name, but whatever. All right, let's get started. It's going to be Jamie Watson, Ruben Patterson, Rashard Lewis, Dennis Rodman, Jerome James. And I will be right back. I'm just going to let this thing play as I'm getting some ice cream. All right. Let's play some Sonics basketball. And ball goes to Boston, won by Vitaly Potapenko. And here's the three-pointer, and that is done by Antoine Walker, and Boston's already on the board. A huge three-pointer by Antoine Walker. And Ruben Patterson, who's been struggling a little bit offensively. Quite a bit, too. Going for a jumper, and he misses. Kenny Anderson will get that rebound. He's racing down the court. And here's Ron Mercer, and that's blocked by Rashard Lewis. And here's Jerome James, and I get it to Ruben Patterson, to Watson for the foul. And he's going to go to the line. And misses the free throw. Sonics are already not off to a good start. And he gets the free throw. Jamie Watson, who he's been a pretty fine addition for the Sonics. He was added as a free agent. Oh, and blocked by Rodman. And now here is Watson and the dunk. Now he has all 3 Sonics points. So what I was saying was he's been a pretty good addition. He was just a free agent signing, and then they used him. There was an injury. Injuries were going on with the team. It was Brandon Williams who was injured when he was actually traded from San Antonio to Seattle. And Vitaly Potapenko makes a hook shot. And here's Jamie Watson. And he gets the easy dunk. Who was watching him? So, yeah, Watson he took over for Brandon Williams in the shooting guard. He was just coming off the bench while Respert was starting. But funny enough, and now here's Walker for 3. And rebound Pierce. And Potapenko makes it. Or is it Potapenko? I think it's Potapenko. Vitaly Potapenko. He was one of the 21 feet of, quote, useless centers. And a 3-pointer by Ruben Patterson. So, yeah, I can't even finish what I'm saying about Jamie Watson. So, yeah, he was proving to be a good defensive player and had some good ability to pass. So, they experimented him as a point guard, and he's been having that starting job since. Now, here's Watson again. And now he is just on fire. He is 3 for 3. And Kenny Anderson. And here's Potapenko. And he fouls. He gets fouled. Antoine Walker got hammered by Rashard Lewis. Anderson's being heavily guarded. And Patterson fouls heavy. Here's Mercer. Rebound Rodman. And here's Watson. He loses it, but he gets the ball back. And Lewis for 3. No! He doesn't get it. And Pierce, he misses a point-blank shot. Rodman has it. Passes it to Lewis for 3. And Rashard Lewis, he struggled as he was like 4 of 20. He was like awful. But he's still been the best scorer for Seattle. Now here's Kenny Anderson. And he misses. Rashard Lewis going deep for 3. No, he's not going to make it. It was a pretty reckless shot by Lewis. Here's Paul Pierce. He's daring to shoot. And Rodman gets the rebound. Here's Rodman. And he misses. Boston has not found the bucket in quite some time. Oh, I think that was blocked by Watson. And no one's really scoring ever since Rashard Lewis made that 3-pointer. Here's Anderson, and he makes it. Watson's going to take it up. Here's Lewis. He misses. Here's Paul Pierce. And he gets blocked by Patterson. Excellent defense by Ruben Patterson. And gets it to Jerome James. And timeout's been called by Boston. as they would like to talk it over. Sonics have really good young potential. Watson, although he's getting up there in 26 years old, but he still has the tools to contribute. And a 3-pointer by Ron Mercer. You got Ruben Patterson, who is a pretty good defensive player. He's got some future in him himself. And now here's Jerome James. He misses it. And Jerome James himself, he could be the center of the future. He might be this. He's trying to be that center that the Sonics have been looking for almost a decade, if not a decade. As last year they had Jim McIlvaine, who didn't exactly exceed any kind of expectations. Bruce Bowen for 3, and rebound Rodman. Over to Watson. And Watson for 3. Really shouldn't be taking 3-pointers. It's 15-11. And here's the 3. Oh, and Boston's getting themselves right back in it. And then for power forward, you got Dennis Rodman. I mean, eventually you're going to have to find a power forward eventually, because I don't think Rodman's going to play. I wouldn't expect him to play into his 40s necessarily. And then Rashard Lewis could be one of the scoring Sonics for the future. Jerome James with the rebound. Here's Rodman. James is being guarded. Watson, not exactly the guy you want for 3-point shooting. And steal. Tony Batiste picks it up. Here's Dana Barrows. Double team. Here's Mercer to Bowen. And he's fouled. Fouled by Rodman. He misses the free throw. And with so many draft picks that the Sonics have, I have heavy doubts that the Sonics are going to be that much active in free agency. Since they have pretty much blown it up, I think they just want to just take a few steps at a time. Just try to see who can contribute for the Sonics right off their draft picks. And free throw's been made. I wouldn't expect them to make any kind of moves at all. Jamie Watson now has 9 points. He's leading it for Seattle. And Patterson fouls. And they're going to go to the line. Free throw's been made. And made again. Lewis for 3. Nope. And Watson is fouled. Or Watson has committed the foul. As Dana Barrows makes his free throw. Checking in, whoever number 55 is. He makes another free throw. Here's Patterson. He makes it. But yeah, for the Sonics, like, players I expect. I mean, the only 3 players I maybe expect to still be starters from today's roster. And James with the block. And could they go all the way? Here is James with the buzzer. Nope. That would have been funny if he made it, though. As it is off to a kind of a start. It is 19-19. Resprit for 3, and he makes it. And Stevens gets the rebound. Here's Teron Lue for Jelani McCoy. And here's Resprit again. And he misses. And Dana Barrows will get it in for the layup. Here's Stevens for 3. And he makes it. Here's Bowen. He makes it himself. It's now a 2-point lead for the Sonics. And here's Resprit to Tyrone Lue for 3. And Popeye Jones with the rebound. There's Bowen. And the rebound. And fouled. And McCoy gets that rebound. And here's Stevens to Resprit for 3. Foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer. And rebound, McCoy. And here's Sean Resprit. Tries to do the dribble action. And Stevens for 3. He makes it. And the Sonics are stretching to a 7-point lead. And Celtics are just not scoring at all. They are absolutely struggling. Potapenko gets it. And he makes that layup. Here's Resprit again. And he misses. Lue for 3. He makes it. Stretches it to an 8-point lead. And Antoine Walker makes it. Lue again. And misses. Potapenko gets the rebound. And huge pass by Potapenko. And they cut it to within 4 points. Resprit for 3. And McCoy gets the huge rebound. And he makes it. Jelani McCoy's been making a little bit of a name for himself, too, in the power forward area. Yesterday, he nearly got 10 rebounds, all in 1 quarter, in the 4th quarter. They put him in for the first time, and he was very effective. Nearly led the Sonics to some kind of a little bit of a comeback. And steal by Hamilton. And here's Sean Resprit. And he somehow makes it. Here's Antoine Walker. He flew to the rim. Now up by 6 points. And backcourt violation. It's going to be Celtics ball. Here's Walker for 3. Maybe he should shoot some more 3-pointers. Antoine Walker's now 4 for 9. Lewis for 3. And he misses. And he's been struggling as of late. Here's Pierce. And Vitaly Potapenko with the putback slam. Jamie Watson. And here's Patterson for 3. Jerome James. He gets it in. He makes the layup. Watson misses. And Pierce going for a jumper. And misses. Here's Ruben Patterson. Gets it to Dennis. Lewis for 3. Again, he misses. And how has he been doing? He's now 1 for 8. 1 for 6 from 3-pointer. Maybe he should probably cool down on that 3-point shooting because it's just not working for him right now. And Lewis fouls him. He is not having a good first half. I mean, yeah. And Lewis with the steal gets it to Watson. And it's blocked by Kenny Anderson. And Pierce runs it up to Walker. He goes for a jumper. And he makes it. Here's Jerome James. Misses. And Patterson gets his 5th rebound. And he turns the ball over. Rodman gets that rebound. Celtics have a 1-point lead. And Watson throws it away. Sonics are continuing to just throw away the basketball. And here's Mercer with the dunk. Time winding down for the first half. Patterson for 3. And Sonics are just not making their 3-pointers at all. And Patterson just threw down Paul Pierce. Here's Lewis. He's got to do more than just shooting. Just camps out in the 3-point line too much. And he can't really get around either. Lewis for 3. And he misses. Now he's 1 for 9. And that is it for the first half. 43-39 Boston. They're going to use the starting five. They just want to keep the thing gelled together. And steal by Boston. And Watson couldn't even get to him. He actually has 6 rebounds. And Watson makes it in. He drove to the rim very aggressively. He has 11 points. He's actually leading the team in scoring. It's actually not a good look. Here's Jerome James guarding Potapenko. Here's Walker. He gets right through Jerome James. Watson gets it to Rodman and misses. Sonics are just missing everything. Here's Walker for 3. And Patterson gets the rebound. He is 2 for 5. Maybe he should try to get some more. Oh, blocked. And it's Sonics basketball. Patterson for 3. No. Nobody's hitting the 3-pointer. Here's Pierce. Jerome James gets that rebound. And here's Rashard Lewis. And exactly that's what he should be doing. There's Antoine Walker. He makes it. Lewis guarded by Paul Pierce. Both rookies playing each other. And loses the ball. Here's Kenny Anderson. Good defensive transition, and that will lead to an out of bounds. Here's Watson. There's Jerome James. And who's going to get that rebound? And Rodman can't even get that rebound. Here's Patterson. Can't even get a hand on Kenny Anderson. Sonics are just, it's just not their day. Lewis for 3. And that will cause a timeout. And the foul. Jamie Watson gets in there. And he gets the free throw. Now it's just a 2-point game. And the Sonics are waking up after a very sluggish first half. And a steal. And here's Watson with the steal. Who does he have? And he gets it to Rashard Lewis. Oh, so close. This crowd was about to explode. And now the game is tied. As Rashard Lewis and Jamie Watson have been the catalysts of the second half. Here's Ron Mercer. And Lewis gets the rebound. Rashard Lewis is wide open for 3 and he misses. He really thought he had it. And he makes the layup. 53-51. And they turned the ball over again. It's been a huge series of turnovers. Oh, and Bruce Bowen with a huge dunk in Rodman's face. Could not believe that. Lewis, another three, and he gets it. Keeps it to within a 1-point game. Here's Mercer, and he makes it. Here's Rodman, and he loses it, but it's Sonics basketball. And I think it's time to get the bench back onto the court. Actually, that's what they are planning to do. Here's Ruben Patterson, and that's a steal. Here's Jamie Watson. It's going to be a three-pointer, and he makes it. Extends it to a 6-point lead. And here's Watson. And that's going to be a steal by Walker. Here's Walker with a jumper. And now the lead explodes to 8. And timeout's been called by Seattle. Starters were out there a bit too long. Now they're going to have the bench out there to see if they can figure it out. I think this would be a good time to bring in Shammond Williams for this kind of situation. Here's Resprit. He makes the shot. Resprit has now 9 points. Dana Barrows. And now here's Bruce Bowen. It's blocked by Stevens. And here we go. And now here's Resprit. And no, he misses it so close. Here's Bruce Bowen, blocked by McCoy, but Walker gets it in anyway. Oh, huge pass. A nice save. Oh, no, it's been thrown away. Here's Mercer. And Popeye Jones just embarrasses Thomas Hamilton. Celtics have killed them in the paint. Here's Resprit for 3. And Resprit's trying to keep the Sonics into the game. It's a nice three-pointer. Bruce Bowen. And that's going to be almost a steal. And Walker for 3. And he answers right back. Been a very sluggish game for Seattle. And a three-pointer by Resprit, and he doesn't make it. And it's fouled. Hi, Matthew. How's it going? And misses the free throw. He makes it this time. And Shammond Williams is now checking in for the last minute of this quarter. Here's Williams for 3. Williams, he's been known to be a very clutch shooter. And he is already signed going into next season. So he is already guaranteed to be a Sonic, considering that the Sonics, majority of their team, are going to be free agents at the end of this season. And rebound Hamilton. Here's Williams for 3. And rebound Bruce Bowen. And steal by Hamilton. And here's Stevens. He makes the layup. And blocked by Stevens again. And can they go for the three-pointer? And here's Williams for three. Oh, so close. We'll get the starters out. We'll get the starters out for now. But then definitely want Shammond Williams. We'll have Jamie Watson. He'll guard one of the perimeter players. And that's something Watson can do, is he can defend the perimeter very well. Here's Resprit for three. And he makes it. Sean Resprit from downtown. And Potapenko, he's been very accurate. Here's Williams. Again, a three-pointer for Shammond Williams. That's his second three-pointer of the game. Here's Mercer to Potapenko. And here's Tony Battie. And rebound. And what can the Sonics do here? And that's going to be out of bounds, but it's still Sonics basketball. Makes you wonder if you should try Joe Stevens. Williams going to try again. Oh! And now he brings it to within 1 point. Unbelievable. 2 3-pointers in a row in this quarter. And the crowd is finally starting to wake up, and they are getting very excited. They're going to see if they can try to stop him. And the ball's loose. Now here's Watson to Williams, and he gets the dunk. And this crowd is just absolutely exploding. That was just absolutely amazing. And the chant of defense is being very, very loud as they now have a 1-point lead. Can the Sonics continue this momentum? Walker being guarded by James, and he goes for the fadeaway, and it's out of bounds. Didn't expect Shammond Williams to go for that dunk. But now the Sonics have a 1-point lead. And Watson, he gets right through him to Rodman, and he's fouled. He makes the first free throw. And then here's a second free throw. Oh, and Stevens, he is blocked, but it's still Sonics basketball. But way to hustle. Watson's now at the shooting guard. Now the Celtics are giving them a really hard time to get them through. And now here's Jerome James, and he loses it. And here's Mercer, and he's going to get the dunk. And now it's a tie ball game. There's Jamie Watson. Now here's Stevens for three. No, misses. Here's Anderson, and now that just kind of froze the crowd right there. Now it's only that's a 2-point lead for Boston. And Watson nearly lost the ball. Here's Williams for three. Oh! Why not give it to him? Because he is absolutely on fire. He is definitely their most clutch player on this team. Here's Bruce Bowen. He silences the crowd right there. Here's Watson. What has he got? Oh, and he drives it in. Watson with 16 points. And timeout's been called. And listen to the crowds. It's going to be a standing ovation. I think they're going to put in Rashard Lewis. I mean, Watson's been doing really well on defense. There's Kenny Anderson. Walker is posting. Here's Bowen. And he makes it. Gives Boston another lead. As now they're just exchanging leads. Here's Dennis Rodman. And Jerome James tried to save it, but it did not go well. Now here's Kenny Anderson. And rebound by Shammond Williams. And Jerome James with the dunk. And blocked. How many blocks does these guys have? Watson has 2 blocks, 16 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. Stevens has 2 blocks himself. Rodman hasn't really been doing much. I think they're going to rest Rodman, and they want to rest Rodman and put in McCoy. Same thing will they put in Hamilton, or they can stretch the floor a little bit further. I think they'll put Resprit, and they'll put Watson at shooting guard. Try Lewis at power forward, and then McCoy. You're going to try a lot of different things. Now here's Paul Pierce. And Jerome James gets that rebound. Nice moves by Watson to Rodman. Now Lewis is being guarded by Pierce. And Williams for 3. He misses. Not this time. And rebound Potapenko. And it's steal. And here is Rashard Lewis with the dunk. He is now 15 points. And here's Paul Pierce for 3. Misses. And Watson with another rebound. Gets it to Lewis. Here's Jerome James. Goes on Potapenko. And he makes it. A 5-point lead for Seattle. And now they're starting to break it open. Here's Mercer. Now, Pierce should not be taking that shot. Here's Mercer for 3. And now he inches it closer. And that's, I think Seattle's going to call a timeout. But now they're down to just 1 timeout. So they can't really afford to burn another one. And it looks like they want to give Watson a break. They want to give Watson a break. So they're going to put in Tyronn Lue. And then Joe Stevens. Here's Stevens for 3. No. He shot a little bit too early, too. And here's Paul Pierce going for the jumper. And he makes it, ties the game. It's a very Paul Pierce thing to do. And Lewis going for a long 3. No, why is he doing that? They literally just had a 5-point lead and they just blew it. And out of bounds, Celtics get the ball back with almost a minute left in this game. Timeout's been called. Oh my goodness, a three-pointer by Walker. And they're just absolutely shell-shocked. And the turnover. This is not good. You got to make their decisions quickly. And it's going to be almost a steal. And here's Anderson. Rebound Walker. And blocked by Resprit. How did he do that? And I wonder what they're going to use on this one. And here's Resprit. He dribbles it. Trying to create his own shot. He's going to for three. And he's in and out. Was not exactly a good decision. And here's Paul Pierce. Oh, no, my goodness. What are they doing to themselves? Here's Lewis for three. And Celtics get the ball back. This is not good. And they're going to foul. Uh-oh. Time is going down. Racing against them and fouled. Resprit with the foul. And now they're going to bring back Shammond Williams back, which they have. They better get the ball to him. They make the free throw. And here is Williams. He's going to try to get that screen from McCoy. He's going to go for the three. And he does it. Brings it to within four. And now it's be a foul fest. And makes the free throw is Ron Mercer. And Lewis again. Oh, they miss it. And I wonder what the Sonics can come up with. They got to come up with something really quickly. And now Stevens for three. No! He missed it. And I think that's going to be the dagger. That was their opportunity. As Lewis fouls and Stevens could not believe it. Ron Mercer at the line again, and he makes it. And this time, you're just got to be throwing up three-pointers and fouling and repeating that cycle and hope for the best. Now here's Williams with very little time for three, and he misses it. And I think that's going to do it, as Boston is going to win this game 97-90. It was quite an effort by Seattle, but unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. And Antoine Walker is going to be the player of the game. And let's look at the stat line for the Sonics. It was like Shammond Williams, Jamie Watson. So here was Shammond Williams with 17 points on 6 of 10 on just 8 minutes of play. Watson, 16 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, but 6 turnovers. Sean Resprit, 15 points on 6 of 12. Rashard Lewis, 15 points, but he has just been struggling because he's just throwing up too many three-pointers. Joe Stevens was actually off to a good start, and then he just became 0 for everything. And then go to the next 5. Jerome James, Ruben Patterson, Tyronn Lue, Jelani McCoy, and Dennis Rodman. James had 8 points, 1 block, he actually really didn't contribute that much at all. And you got Hamilton and Evans that didn't even play. Maybe they should have used him to see if he can get some three-pointers out there. But yeah, that's all they're going to get out of him. But he's not too happy. He's pretty displeased. Now, here was the stat line. Why does Antoine Walker look like a baby? How did they mess that up? Yeah, Bruce Bowen, he actually scored some points. Walter McCarty and Tony Battie. And there you have it. Very unfortunate result for the Sonics. Their best player was pretty much Shammond Williams. Now let's see where Brian Evans is at, because he does not seem to be too happy. The amount of minutes, please trade him. Oh, I think, yeah. I think I'll have to comply and trade him because there's really just not much of a role for him right now. I mean, he had a slightly bigger role, but that was really it. But because of Jelani McCoy, he's just the better player. So I think I'm going to try to trade him. So let's go to general manager, trades, trade finder. See if there's anything for, oh man, what's his name? Brian Evans, as he is shopping for a trade. The Bucks are offering a first round pick and Paul Grant. Wow. Now what's the Bucks pick at? That's the question. They feel that they have a role for him. Second best team though. So many first round picks that the Sonics are getting for Brian Evans. Even the Chicago Bulls are offering a first round pick. Celtics are offering a first round pick. If you're willing to eat up Walter McCarty's contract, which I'm not. Pick swaps by the Clippers. A lot of offerings for Brian Evans. These are tough to pass up. I gotta write these down. Wow. They're doing a straight up for Robert Horry, but I don't want that big contract. I don't want to be committed to that. Daryl Armstrong, no. See, what's the best offers? The Wolves are even making an offer. The Bulls, out of all teams, is offering a first round pick, but they're also, if you're willing to take on Corey Benjamin's contract, that's the problem. Celtics are willing to offer, but I don't want Walter McCarty's contract. Clippers. No. Not interested in the Clippers offer. Hawks are willing to offer their first round pick for Mark West, who's 38 years old. I would effectively be buying him out, to be honest with you. Anthony Mason, that's Roger Mason. They got it wrong. Patrick Ewing, I'm good. Let's look at these teams and how they're doing. So the Timberwolves, they're kind of in the middle of the pack. And the Bulls, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA, and they were willing to give up first round pick. You guys are crazy. Let's do this again. And now they're reverting their offer. So they're willing to give me the Bulls' first round pick. Like straight up for Brian Evans. Like, why would they do that? There's no way they can be doing that. That's just too unrealistic of a trade. Yeah, but the Bulls have it on the table, but why would they do that? They're willing to give up a 1999 first round pick. Celtics are willing to offer 2 first round picks and for the next year. What is Boston thinking? Grant Long and Utah willing to give up their first round pick. Denver wants a pick swap, but huge decline. Let's do this again. There's no way the Bulls would do it again. Yep, they were doing it all right. Willing to give up a first round pick. And Boston was willing to give up 2 years worth of pick. Well, now it's Walter McCarty, but no thanks. Sacramento and Oliver Miller. Bulls and Corey Benjamin. I don't know if I want to take on that kind of contract, though. I'm just not committing to him. As if Atlanta wants to keep making deals. If I want Kendall Gill back, but I have to give up a first round pick, so no thank you. Suns and Chris Morris. Who would have thought that Brian Evans was actually going to have value? Okay, now the Bulls aren't doing it anymore. But the Celtics want to give up 2 first round picks for Brian Evans. I'm also trying to be more realistic, too. Mokhtar Njai, 25-year-old. I have to give up a first round pick. I'm good. As if I already have Atlanta's first round pick. LaFonso Ellis. The Pistons' first round pick. But I don't want to give up a second round pick, though. Okay, how many picks do I really have? Let's be realistic right now. I don't even have any second round picks. I have no second round picks. That's the crazy part. I have 0 second round picks. I have 5 first round picks. They're mostly kind of going to be in the mids to, like, if anything, those low 20s. So I kind of want to get a mid pick out of it. For Brian Evans. Bulls are willing to give up their first round pick. But I have to be willing to give up a second round pick for next year. Which the 2000 first, 2000 draft is pretty much just going to be a really crap full of role players anyway. I think I want to take Boston's pick because that can give me a pick for possibly run our test. I think Boston's is the most intriguing. I think I'm gonna make the trade with Boston. And it's kind of like, how do you make a trade like that? That's like, how is that even possible? So right after that, they noticed that Brian Evans, I guess, was looking good. He had good jump shots, high energy off the bench, and that he's a 76 overall. So he clearly has value. I think I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to do Brian Evans and a second round pick from the Sonics for 1999 first round pick from the Celtics and 2000 first round pick. I will accept this offer. Trade has been accepted. I will adjust manually. As now that theoretically brings Greg Foster back, but now I want a power forward. Gonna have to go into free agents. Who is available in power forward? Got Michael Cage, Corey Blount, Joe Wolf, John Saleh, no thanks. Wright, Dante Jones, Amal Maskil, and Mario Bennett. So who would you really want? How much is he worth? 1.49. I don't want to go into the million for that. Tony Farmer. Roy Rogers. But he might be a little bit pricey. Yeah, that's a bit much. Dante Jones is a 1.2. I almost just want to go for the cheapest possible center. $473,000. Guy can't even rebound. Amal Maskil, 907. I'm gonna go very, very cheap and get Mario Bennett. Even though he's gonna be a very undersized power forward. I don't know. Either him or Amal Maskil. Or Amal Makaskil. Go with Mario Bennett. It's a little bit cheaper anyway. Let's see who are happy. How? Oh, I see. He was supposed to be a starter. He says, please trade my client. He's given you plenty of time to work with him, but you still refuse. So it looks like I may have to trade my point guard. Because Tyronn Lue is getting a little bit much of it. Tyronn Lue is very happy. Just hasn't really played that much. He used to be a starter. Now his minutes have been diminished. But what? Shammond Williams, I've given you like... He doesn't play that much, but he was a starter. Now he says he wants to be traded. You really want to get traded, don't you? There's nothing I can do to make him happy, huh? Andrew Gaze has yet to play. 33 years old. He's known to be a three-point shooter. So what do I do with like Lewis? I mean, Lewis is happy. Well, anyways, I got to get going. Thank you very much for being here. And go Sonics.